Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Joker Tower. Um, huh. This server is in Iowa. That's funny. Um, anyways, I know I said a couple episodes ago that I was going to try to split this off into Joker Tower 2, and we'll see. Maybe I already did, maybe I didn't. Um, that's why I tried to remain vague in my discussion, but I wanted to hop on. This is going to be a short one, just like a 20-minute or so before work, because I just wanted to do an update with. Why did I leave this? Well, either way. Because eventually I'm still. In fact, let's go ahead and do that. I was going to make this place. I need a bunch of cherry blossom saplings because I was going to try to make this into like the Whoville type place with just a bunch of these things. So like the entire this area is a bunch of cherry blossoms. So we'll go ahead and destroy some of these and get the saplings. But anyways, no, it's exhausting work. I'm still working on the cats, and I'm about to make the one on Elon, which, I mean, so there's the Doge website that lays out all the different things that things have been spent on. And so the problem is like that voter base already disagrees with a lot of the things that the last government was spending money on, like DEI efforts and stuff. When uh, That's the frustrating thing is like because you can easily make it look like that stuff's pointless and it doesn't need to exist. However, you're ignoring like vast histories of just family history or vast amounts of family history and reasons why people are where they are and such like that. And like, I mean, like what was it? I don't even know where I saw it, but like something else to kind of look into is like how the Trump family used to have a little thing on the back of a rental application that would have like a C for colored or something. So they could tell if they were about to rent to a non-white person, they would make that distinction. So right there, that's just kind of like, oh, I can treat them differently, or they aren't as important, or there why is that distinction? Or maybe there's a increased liability that they won't pay, or this or that, or any number kind of socioeconomic problems, which were kind of like self-fulfilling prophecies because of things like the projects and then how just a lot of people either intentionally or unintentionally kept them down by not wanting them to be a part of society, or at least not a good, healthy, happy part of society. Like they were allowed to live and exist, but microaggressions, which we're learning now, are the cause of a lot of nonsense. And really everybody knows this. Like everybody's been snubbed at least once in their life by somebody and just and then in that moment formed an opinion of that person like, oh, well, I don't like that person as much now because they're a jerk about this. And they could have just been hungry that day, like having a bad day, or not even intentionally like trying to snub you. Like they might have just had like a resting angry face, like some people call it the resting bee face, and and that matters. Like when you're someone that doesn't smile, that's generally unhappy, people, even if you tell them, oh no, it's not you, they're gonna think, well, wait, maybe is it something that I did? Like, why are they mad at me? And then if they can't figure it out, then there's frustration. Then they're like, well, you know what? If they're mad at me, I'm just gonna be mad at them. And so it's kind of one of those things where it's like nobody intended for something to happen, but something bad happens. So, anyways, back to the cats, because this one's it's driving me nuts. Like I'm just raising points, and I've noticed this on XApp too. That's why it's ridiculous. Like when I debate things, so my buddy that's helping me out with it, I wake up to texts about him mad at me because I'm not outright saying Trump is the devil and he needs to go away. Like I'm saying, well, hold on, let's investigate why other people voted for him. Let's pick apart each thing. He still doesn't get it that I'm just doing this to prove a point, and he keeps thinking that I'm a major Trump supporter, even after because he joined me for that Twitch stream. Like he was one of those two people watching, so and it just to kind of help me test out the stream. Anyway, so he's like, "That's you proclaim that he did." So I brought up the American Academy, which was one of his campaign promises. I didn't say, and I even said it even as I did. And this is what is so annoying. Is like I said, I'll believe it when I see it, but this is what's being said. right there. And so in his mind, he's like, "Oh, Trump's a golden god because he's going to give us free college." And so like, I didn't proclaim anything. I just said he said this. So if I proclaimed it, like, he's using some pretty big fancy words just to say, "Oh, you showed me what the other side is looking at, and you said you'll believe it when I see it." So he's ignoring that either intentionally or unintentionally because he's so angry at Trump, and so it's clouding his judgment. It's making him not a good debater because you can't just talk to other people like that. Like, and that's why there's a lot of division is because people are primed up and they see all the mess up things and they're like, okay, I get it. This is what's going on. But then it's like they seem to forget that or well, wait, no. Sorry. What I meant was they see all the mess up stuff and it just builds and builds and builds in their mind until they're at their boiling point. But then they're not effective at communicating the key points that led to this type of, what was that? Oh, I guess that must have been like when they disconnected from that. I thought it was a different thing. Like he was thinking and he was confused and then irate. So, anyways, we'll go ahead and put that back there. Put a couple here. And we're going to make a Whoville. I could go around with bone meal and make all those grow all fast too. That might be a good idea to do. But if we lay them out while we're doing it, then there's a chance that some of them will grow without us having to do anything. And then by the time we get to them, they might already be grown. So, but anyways, no. So it's just more, and something interesting that I did uncover during that is that, and I need to go back and find the sources for that one article in the New York Times, which the New York Times is already heavily biased against Trump for many reasons, and so, and that's why Trump says things like fake news is because like something that's been attacking him for a long time to an outsider, like any of his voter base that comes in and sees, oh, why, what, wow, they're just attacking you in this article. They don't realize that it's founded on a whole bunch of other articles and things and issues that people have had with him that make sense as to why people would be upset. And then, he just acts like the innocent victim, like, oh, the press is so horrible to me. Well, wait, did you really make adjustments based on your to your rental properties based on someone's skin color? Like, oh my gosh. Sorry, I'm getting work messages even before 8 a.m. Like, and I don't even start working until 9. That's when so like I'll wake up and I'll start like looking at messages from 8 to 9. But really, that's my commuting time and my breakfast time. And then I really work a 9 to 5 with an hour lunch. It's nice. So I work 8-hour days. But at the same time, there are times where I don't end right at 5. And, uh, uh, yeah. So, anyways, so the cats. Oh wait, no. What I was gonna say about the article, and this is something that I didn't even really think of. It wasn't on my radar, but I keep hearing people saying like, "Oh, he had this many bankrupted businesses." Well, in that article, it talked about how his dad declared that there was a $15 million loss in one of the properties to the IRS, and then gave his son an, a gift of 15 million. So now I'm just like, ooh, that's a money laundering thing. If you declare bankruptcy on a property and just said, oh, I guess the money just kind of disappeared. All I got to show for it is $10,000, is like what he said. Um, uh, and actually, you know what? Sorry, I just realized something. This particular person, I replaced her computer because the hinge was going bad on it. But now that I think about it, this might be a good teachable moment to tell people when moving with your computer, close it. Because when you move with it, and actually now that I think about it, I'm not trying to like shame anybody, but and that's the exact thing. So I work in IT, and I have to tell people how to solve problems all the time. And you can't have a snippy attitude. You can't be snotty. Like by the time you get ready to tell the person what the solution is or what a solution is, because at the end of the day, a lot of times, like, there could be multiple solutions, and that's why I was just commenting on Exhibit's post about that. Oh, it's so cool. I could talk to Exhibit, legendary musician, by the way. Like, I love a lot of his songs. Like, oh, and he collabs with a bunch of the West Coast legends, and he even did that show, Pimp My Ride, and that was so cool. It was like they would take people whose cars were just busted, and that was the cool thing too. Like, oftentimes it wasn't like, I don't know. It was mixing culture. It was people that, like, yeah, they might be a fan of Exhibit or something, but they might not be like gangbanging or like hood or like, savvy in the ways of the streets and all that. And like, so it was just funny to see like the whitest of the white boys be like, "Oh wow, you pimped my car out. That's so cool." And like, and some of it was more like, "Yeah, I pimped Whitey," but that was just a very small part and more inferred. Most of it was like, "Hey yo, I just shared some of my cultural values with this person that didn't know as much, and now they know, and they've had an inside look at, like, this side of things." And it was just really cool. So, and they were always very respectful too. Like, some of it seemed like dunking. That could have just been like like an implicit view based on bias. Like, and there's a lot of that. Like, you quickly dismiss somebody, judge a book by its cover. All right, let's get a good look at this. See how this is coming along. It's okay. Like I mentioned on some of the Fortnite videos, I am taking a vacation, a much needed vacation. One whole week where I just won't be, because it's a love-hate relationship with IT. I'll be doing something like really deep in the weeds on some kind of tech problem or researching some solution. Then all of a sudden someone's like, "Oh, my computer's acting up, this and that." And it's like everything you're working on stops. And then you got to readjust your focus, which is good. I mean, a lot of people are very grateful and they're very polite and like they're super polite. And that's what sucks, is because like I'm glad they are, but that somewhere along the line, someone was a jerk to them when they came to them for help. And it's like, see, now you're making up for bad IT support from the past. And and I've worked with some real doozies, people that like will write a frowny face on the device when it's broken, like to shame them. Not intentional. Like, "Oh, I feel your pain. Oh no, that's too bad." But then what the person feels like is, "Oh, I've upset the IT people because I destroyed a computer." Like, in fact, that's exactly what she told me. She was like, "Oh, I feel really terrible because of..." I was like, "No, accidents happen. Let's get you a new one." Like, it does no good to focus on spilled milk. Like, and that's why we have those sayings, like, don't worry about spilled milk. Like, somewhere along the line that just became a phrase, and basically what it means is like, if an accident happens, the best way to approach it is understand that an accident happened and then move forward. Like, what's your step two, three, and four? Like, step one, panic, or sad or whatever. And even that needs to be adjusted, because you really shouldn't panic. The whole Douglas Adams thing is like, panic doesn't help anything. In fact, I learned that in Boy Scouts. Like, if you ever get lost in the woods, panic is how you end up dying, or it's going to make it a whole lot harder to survive. Whereas if you keep calm, stay calm, don't panic, don't waste your energy on panicking, assess the situation, figure out, try to figure out where you are. If you can't figure out where you are, try to figure out a place to stay, and then try to stay put so people will come find you. Or because a lot of times people go looking for somebody and then they keep moving, so they're looking for a moving target, and then there's a risk about that. I don't know. Well, it's the same with like troubleshooting and stuff. Don't panic. Keep a cool, level head. Think about what to do. And actually, this is good because I need to figure this out. She's the second person to have this particular issue happen where, so a lot of things are in the cloud anymore, and Microsoft Office is no different. Like, a lot of it, well, and actually, shoot, that is annoying. Um, yeah, but no, I'm sorry. I'm not going to be answering messages before 8 o'clock. It's not. You can work that way. I'm not going to, and that's fine. That's one of the things that I actually had to like realize myself working in this organization. Like, we do use scheduled send when possible, or the people that remember that scheduled send is a thing will use it. But I mean, and that's fine. I understand that like not everybody's going to remember, especially when they're in panic mode. Like, "Oh, I don't this tool that I usually use is no longer available," and so I don't know, but that's good because I'm about to swap out a whole lot of other computers, and I need to know all the blind spots and the corner cases. And I think I need to find a new term than blind spot because that could be offensive to people with vision impairment. So, and that's insensitive too. And then just like what I was just talking about is you got to remember to show respect to these people because they're not, and they're often very wise and smart and talented in their realm, their wheelhouse. They know what to do in their job very well, much better than I could do. And that's one of the biggest things I understand is like I might know a bunch of this tech stuff and I can help people with their tech problems, but then like get into academics or operations or protocols and stuff that I'm not familiar with, like I wouldn't trust me to do that job blindly. Like I see there it is again, like blindly. You got to stop saying stuff like that because if someone was like a blind person, like well, it's like in Wayne's World when that scene where he's like, I'm gonna cross all the T's and dot all the lowercase j's because the guy had a fake eye and he looked at him and he was waiting for him to say it and luckily he did in the moment realize and he was concerned about that and it might have been a funny joke and like a stoner moment and stuff but that is real and people that Israel and people that dabble in the cannabis are often more empathetic to other people. Now, the guy that I'm working with, though, he's a little too super empathetic for other people to the point where he's going to treat people harshly. And we've actually had a fight about this before. I didn't wear a mask around one of my MAGA friends, and he was like, I can't believe you would put me at risk, other people. And I was like, dude, chill. Like, and I said that as an essential worker, having like been less than 6 feet apart from people for the entire pandemic, working with people, and like, we tried to keep up safety protocols, but you're just not going to at that point if you're working, and these are 12-hour shifts, and it's just like I get the concern. Try not to visit the elderly or like the weak because you might get them the COVID, but also at the same time, everybody's gonna get it, and it was just a really bad time. So I don't know. I don't know. So, anyways, and actually, I do need to. Eh, well, the alarm's about to go off. This is just gonna be like a 20-minute video, just a quick update about where things are at. The communal's still happening. It's just very slowed. I think I mentioned in one of these that the guy that I was going to have run it passed away, and I'm still not sure what happened. But he was a wizened hippie dude that he was quite the leader, had a bunch of people that would gladly follow him to the ends of the earth because he was trustworthy, kind, compassionate, empathetic, but at the same time structured and all that. And he was an old hippie, one of my favorite people. And it was very sad. I got back from Vietnam, and not like 2 weeks later, and I had it in mind to go see him. And I think I hate to think that that might have like contributed to it. And I got to be careful with that because like there's probably a lot that contributed to it. And even if that did weigh on his mind as part of it, like I like to think that that wasn't the straw that broke the camel's back if that was what happened. But I don't know. The guy used to be a DJ for a strip club, grew up around a bunch of beautiful women that, you know, use their feminine wiles for money and power and respect. Well, kind of respect. I don't know. There is a bunch of that I see, and I think that women feel like they're getting respect when they're like doing like the dominatrix type stuff. And I had a girlfriend start to do that like when we were about to break up, and she knew things were ending, and it was basically because the big black dudes in a bathtub with her in swimsuits. Like that's why. And my birthday, going to an R&B singer's concert and him singing right at her, and then right after we broke up, she tells me, "Oh, I slept with so and so, and I used your that." Anyways, let's not even go that. So that's some of my deep-seated hatred for just one demographic, R&B singers. Now, if they're legit and they only go after single ladies, cool. But the R. Kellys and this guy, and now the Drakes, they don't care. Drake's newest song, "Who's Calling My Phone?" And it's like, and he just like starts throwing out all these names of girls that he's like talking to, and he's in heated debates with Kendrick for trying to go after a 16-year-old, a minor. So I don't know. I don't know. It's all bad. Another cat. should be done on R&B singers and my complaints, my concerns and thoughts of the predatory practices of R&B singers and the home wrecking potential for when an R&B singer finally lands his hit, which this one did. And I still don't know if they were doing it before I broke up with her or after, because she started getting into all this kinky stuff by the end, and I was just like, where did you even learn that? Like, that just made me more mad. I was like, what is this? Like, you're showing me all these tricks that dude taught you? Like, so, anyways, I digress. Oh, now I'm thinking about the things. So, anyways, I got to get ready for work. Ta ta for now. I will see you in the next one.